We're going to switch right now to, breaking barriers to hire the best talent with two amazing speakers. You have Alex Brazies, who is the CEO at Deal. So Alex solves a big challenge, obviously, that comes with moving to a distributed and global workforce, payroll and compliance. 700 companies already use Deal to onboard their international teams and manage international payments without having to worry about the complex overhead that comes with specific currency and labor law requirements. Alex is backed by Y Combinator, Andresen Horowitz, and Y Spark Capital. And Margot, as well, is joining us. Margot joined Talent.io 5 years ago after launching a first tech startup. And today, Margot is in charge of leading the operations for most of the market of Talent.io, which is in Paris. And she recently started the remote recruitment to answer the need that we are all facing right now, which is hiring talent remotely. And both of them are going to talk about how you can break down the barriers to hire talent, the best talent around the world. So welcome, Alex. Welcome, Margot. Are you coming on stage? Yes. Hello, Margot. Hello, Alex. Thank you very much. All right. So I let you start this. And I'm leaving you. I saw Alex. Alex is coming as well. Yes. I don't know if Alex is.
I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Perfect. I'm leaving you. There is a sound background. Yes, there is a sound problem, Alex. With we hear a lot of sound. Maybe it's your headphones. You should put headphones. Okay, Alex, maybe you should put headphones.
De mon côté à moi? No, on my side?
No, sorry.
Okay, on their side. Okay.
Yes. Well, Alex, Margot, while the other Alex is fixing his problem, maybe you could start introducing yourself, talking about what you do. I'm leaving you, and Alex will join you. And if there is a problem, I'm sure you will handle the conversation perfectly. See you.
Thank you, Alice, and welcome, Alex and Margot. 12 years ago, I heard a quote which is, "The world is but one country and mankind its citizen." And this quote changed my life forever. It has been a driving force in my life. And this is why I'm so happy that we're talking about breaking barriers to hire the best talent with you guys today. And I can promise to anyone listening right now that they're going to get great insights, because I know about you guys. And just, Alice already introduced, but just to say, Margot is managing a huge team of experts in finding the best tech talent you need in Europe, and she's also leading the remote element of that. So she has a lot of insights on that, and she's also an entrepreneur. And Alex was today on the Forbes 30 under 30 in the finance category, and the serial entrepreneur that really has a lot to share. So I'm really, really excited, and I know for sure that you guys will add massive value. And I want to start by asking, you first, Margot, what does it mean in your startup to break barriers to hire the best talent?
So I guess for talent, I'm hearing myself in the bar. It's better. So I guess for talent, so just for client first, we can see like before the crisis, COVID crisis, startup, were trying to unlock international pipe of candidates by asking them to move in their country. And actually in 2019, it was like representation of 6% of recruitment. So it was kind of the first step one about, breaking barriers. And since the COVID crisis, we can see more and more starting hiring remotely talent first in their country. And now the step 3 is starting, as they're starting to hiring remote candidates anywhere in the world. And at Talent, actually, we are used to work like that because we have office in 5 countries. So even if we were not working remotely, we were working with people in 5 different countries. So we had to work like that.
Thank you, Margot. What I really love about Talent as a company, and this is very funny, is that you guys select the companies that are allowed to make offers to you tech guys. You're going to talk about this later, but you really went to the big level of recruiting game. And you, Alex, what does it mean for you and Zil to break barriers to hire the best talent?
Well, I've lived in so many countries, so hiring people in different countries or where I've lived before has always been something that I've done. If you look at Deal, for example, we're 70 now, I think, almost, and in 25 plus countries. So I don't think we would have ever been able to build such an amazing companies without all this talent and this diversity. And I think similar to what Margot said, people are realizing that talent is everywhere, and limiting yourself to Paris or to San Francisco is not good enough, specifically when you start competing with talent for talent, or just straight up missing the diversity of having such a diverse team and so many people. So, overall, my vision on that is that the world is becoming maybe not one country from a legal perspective, but one small place bridged by the internet, and amazing companies are going to be built the way we're building things today.
Thank you, Alex. I really like what you said about, limiting your diversity. You can't do that anymore. This is not, if you want to play at the highest level now, it's just the tip of the iceberg, but there is so much more going on there. And what I love about Deal is that you guys really allow the best talent to work from anywhere they want, to have access to the best jobs, but still, have the family life and the conditions they want. So this is like really inspiring for me, really. And thank you for what you're doing there. Coming back to Margot, I know that you're leading the remote offer, right? And one of the things that you discovered during this pandemic and expanding is that people are still hiring from their own country. Germans are hiring remotely in Germany, UK remotely in UK, and French. Can you tell us a bit about this discovery, and why do you think this is still happening?
I think there is 2 reasons. First, it's resistance to change. Always hard to make things different that you were used to. And the other thing is a legal issue and all the paperwork. And I think actually Alex from Deal can help with that. Just because, for example, for now, we have clients who are like just calling us and like, okay, but if I want to, I don't know, hiring someone from Portugal, a full stack developer from Portugal, how can I do it? Because actually there is now 3 options. The first one is you can create your own entity in Portugal, but in this case, it could be like really complex and expensive, all this kind of stuff. There is option 2 about doing freelancing. Like that, you have a direct contract with the candidate. And the last option is EOR companies. So I know that Deal is doing both, actually, the freelancing and the ER, who could be a good option regarding, the law of each country. But what I saw in the last few months, I saw many companies, EOR company, with innovative solution who can really help company to just kick off all this issue and get people from anywhere in the world.
Maybe you need to comment on that, Alex, as she went deep into your expertise now.
Because I talked with Alex a few weeks ago about that.
Yeah, it's an important topic. Look, I think hiring within country is also great. Like, you have amazing talents in countries, and the idea of remote working is not just working internationally, although that's the narrative I like. There's also the ability to work with a guy from Bordeaux when you're in Paris, for example, and that's something that you should consider. Talent is everywhere, even if it means only 100 kilometers away. But yeah, the legal complexity this is something we help with. I'm not too sure how much you want to dive into that, but there's definitely difficulties in doing it, and there's different models that's adapted per hire, and you need to think about all of this when you're hiring. It's all about giving your teammate a really good experience while limiting the overheads of the company and making sure that from a compliance standpoint, you are in the right place, right? So, although that's a topic I can spend hours on, not too sure what's the scope of where you want to limit it, but what's important is for you to understand what are your options and how do you want to go about it depending on the stage of your company.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, I think Margot started talking about the different options you have, in terms of the compliance, and she talked about resistance to change, right? So people are really afraid to sometimes hire this talent, and that's why they need partners like we are clients of Deals, and we need partners like that to make this happen. Can you guys try to tell us a bit, how can we help people, take these first steps and have more courage and have more, go beyond these barriers and be able to effectively make it happen and to a higher level each time, as you said, starting locally? And how does that happen to accompany someone like this, Alex?
How does that happen? Well, first you can find a great talent on talent, right? That's the first way to go about it. But the way I look at this is, first, international hiring is not new per se, right? A lot of companies have been doing it for a long time. Whether they advertise that they were hiring remotely is a different story. What's more interesting here is when you really want to scale the company globally, right? When you're not hiring a couple of people, when you really want to build a company, the culture and everything around that. And the way I've seen people is, it starts with having the right talent and looking for talent, right? It starts with thinking, hey, how can I get that specific skill set? Or on talent or on AngelList, someone applied for that role and they're amazing and I really want to work with them. Or someone, for example, I've seen that use case quite a bit, international funders, where the person said, hey, I have amazing friends of mine that I want to hire back in my country at some point. So that's kind of like the first step. And I think before the whole legal aspect of that, where we're just starting on our side, helping lots of companies, but a lot of companies don't even get to that point. You need to have kind of that change of, hey, this talent is really everywhere, and I really want to find the right people. And I think this is the sourcing part, and that's what's really going to change when HR and the different people ops and culture are going to see the ability that and the different talents that they can find in Germany, or for example, that's when there's going to be that culture shift. So I think the problem is more sourcing the talent than helping transition at the beginning. Because helping transition, you have amazing companies that are doing it right now, and they're going to develop even further for that, to be honest.
So how do you do it, Alex, at Deal? Do you have employees from all over the world? How do you make sure you have the best talent in your company?
Yeah, we definitely do. If you look at Deal, like I said, about 65 people in 25 different countries. So fully distributed, had to figure out all the details and the nitty-gritty of every single country when we did it. Of course, we do it for our customers, so it was a lot easier for us. And when you say how do we do it? How do we do it from a process perspective, or to find those people, or what are you?
Yeah, you have companies like Talent that help you find the right. You don't go just to friends, as you mentioned, and to specific skill sets, right?
Yeah, we do a couple of things. Yeah, we definitely work with companies like Talent, and then I think we're a little lucky on the front that we've got a decent brand where quite a few people apply for our job, so we get to have a look at some of the best talent out there. I think there's definitely a strong marketing power from employer brand perspective in being remote today, which I think a lot of companies should definitely leverage, where tons of people I know, they want a remote job. They want to move out of San Francisco, go back home, or even within country, just go not in San Francisco. And I think that really helps getting the first talent out the door, and not every company has followed just yet. I think they will. But yes, I always find the balance of combining professionals like Margot with a little bit of inbound, the best way to go about it.
And you said, Alex, that you have this desire for remote, right? So let's hear from you, Margot, as you're the expert in the field and having the best tech talents there in your amazing database. And you select the companies that can actually make offers to your talent. And these talents, every Monday, they have these 10 offers they can choose from. They are really well treated. Can you tell to the entrepreneurs listening, right, how can they be making the most to attract this such desired talent by also using the remote element maybe to attract them in a sense?
Actually, it's really interesting because remote became really like a good point to become like attractive for a candidate. I saw it because they have like their acceptance rates can be like really bigger than others, so it's really interesting. And I guess now what talents likes it's a good culture environment, low authority environment, be able to work from anywhere, a company who have a good processes in remote. Because what I saw from the beginning, and actually that's why I think we will have more and more company who will switch in full remote. It's taking time to switch in full remote. You need to change your way of communication, the way you're doing meeting, the way you share knowledge, all this kind of stuff. And it's really important to be ready to embrace talent with you and having the good processes. So you need to have that. You need as well to have a good onboarding program, because if you onboard someone all alone, it can be hard for them. So you need to be really careful of that. For example, us at Talent, even so, we were like on site. Now we are like since the crisis, we are hybrid remote, and we really want to keep this. But we have like an onboarding program that we are calling Talent University. And the idea is that every 2 months, all the new employees are coming from everywhere. And like that, they can meet all the team. They can meet the founders. They can understand our value, because the value are really, really important. Candidates need to feel the value if you want them to be with you and growing with your company. So I think it could be the three things, like remote, value, and onboarding program. Don't forget them.
Thank you, Margot. I really like the Talent University element as a way to really show that it can be remote and attract this talent, and you need to have the good processes and the onboarding and the culture. But to have these tech talents that are really rare resource, you mentioned to me that you have to be sexy as a company as well, and your product has to be sexy in a sense. Can you just say a bit more about how does one make, how do you validate in your selection process the companies that are sexy enough for your tech talent?
Yeah. So actually, we talked about last time about large firm versus startup. I think first there is two types of candidates. They don't all want to go in large firm. We have a lot of candidates who want to be in startup because they will have more impact in startup. They need to, so new generation need to find a purpose on their job. They need to know why they are doing this, having impact in their job, and feel that they are wanted, and they will be, the company will take care of them as well as people, not as a number. So this needs to be really part of the interview process to make them coming in your company. And for tech profile, at least, anyway, they need to love like the framework, the technology, to be, always like innovative. They will create something. So this is what it's exciting for them.
I saw someone writing in the chat that, for a startup is different from a corporate. You're wanted there. You feel important. You know that they need you to grow. So that's the big difference. And what about you, Alex? What makes deal sexy? How do you attract the best?
Will you tell me really sexy? I think, employer brand is really important. I think there's different stage within a company where that becomes a little more your focus, where you even hire someone to make sure that the employment brand, the brand from the talent perspective is really, really great. I think different stages requires different things. We're still in somewhat of the earlier phase where we're growing really fast, and this is kind of our focus. And I think there's lots of different ways you can build your brand. at those different stages. So at the beginning, right now for us, we're clearly in a market that's quite interesting. We're clearly evolving and growing pretty fast, and we have really cool customer logos, for example, and that definitely attracts talents, right? Whether it's through social media or through the fact that some of our customers are happy enough to talk about the product, that quite helps. At different stages, you incentivize people with different things, right? When you're a small startup and you need to figure things out, it's a mix of having the flexibility that Margot was talking about, the right packages to attract them, and the right vision, right? I think vision is quite important. I think the best talent usually want to work for something that's quite impactful. So, as an entrepreneur, your job is to sell all the time, right? You sell to investors, you sell to customers, but more importantly, you sell to your team, right? So selling the right vision, selling the right product, where are you going and why it matters? Because a talented engineer can go work for any other company, right? And for them to choose you, it means you have something there that they're really attracted by. So there's lots of steps you can take, long story short, in building your brand for it to be attractive for your future employees. But stay true to yourself, make sure your values are there and people can clearly see what matters to you, because not every talent is right for your company and vice versa. And to make sure your inbound grows, make sure that in my opinion, this form of building in public, I really like that aspect, which is share the progress of the company, share it with the different people on social or different channels, so that they can see that you're making progress and they want to be part of that ride, right? If you're building everything and you're just expecting people to come to you without really sharing, it's a bit tougher, let's say.
I really like what you said, Alex, about the vision, right? Especially companies like you that are scaling, that are growing fast. You need to really show everyone where you're going, why you're going there, for them to join you. And entrepreneurs like you have to spend actually a lot of energy and time. This is something that Margot was telling me, recruiting a tech talent can't be a side job. You have to actually be focusing energy on that. And then in a minute, I will open to questions. I will see with the Families team if we have questions from the audience. But before that, I just want to ask one more very practical question to both of you. Can you guys each give some concrete advice on people that want to start leveraging this global talent pool, but they are a bit stuck? They are, they are starting, maybe they're not scaling in the same speed. What are some low-hanging fruits? What are some small steps they can take to start making their talent pool a bit broader and finding a way to start accessing more diversity of talent and onboarding them in more creative ways? Of course, partner with Deal and Talent.io, that's obvious, but what else can they do?
So actually, they could start to look at the candidate, because I think it could be a good thing to see the profile you're missing if you're not opening your mind about this type of candidate. Because, for example, I don't know if you're looking, for example, what is something people always asking, like a full stack developer, 3 years experience, Ruby on Rails and React.js, kind of a profit to get. Like, you don't have like 100 profile available at the same time. But if you like say, okay, I don't want to look this profile only in France, I want to open to all Europe, you could have 20 candidates, 30 candidates at the same time. So what do you want? You want the best talent for your team. So I think the first thing is to look the stars, the pépite, how we're calling them, who are available in all the world. And when you talk with this candidate, after you're like, okay, I will make effort and I will understand how I can make it. And after, I guess, now there is so many solutions to do it and to organize yourself. Then you know that if you know that you will have best talent with remote work, you will go. And now I think, like Usama said during the introduction, at the beginning we didn't know if it was possible to succeed with your company in full remote, and we saw now that it's possible. So you just need to take the step and look at the talent.
Yeah, I will add on that. Rather, like, I think taking the step and looking at the talent is great. I think just make the hire. What are you going to lose, right? Hire 1%, see how it goes. Make sure it's vetted, make sure the culture is a good fit. But try. And that's the best way. It's the opportunity cost in hiring an engineer that's not in San Francisco is quite low versus the Bay Area for sure. So, I'm a bit biased. I've always built company distributed because I could never afford developers in Israel or in San Francisco. So I never really had a choice. But now, when I talk to companies, I look at them and like, there's so many, the profiles applying. I don't know if it's right. I don't know. They just go through your interview process, make the leap, and see what happens.
I love your tips. Let's see if we have questions. I love the make the hire, try, get started, and also look at the candidate, understand them, talk to them, see if you can be flexible about the details of what you really wanted. The perfect tech is never going to happen. So you have to be more flexible. Do we have questions from the audience? Question for Margot. What are you seeing more from your clients? Is it remote hiring within the same country, region, or remote hiring from countries on zones like Asia, Latin America?
Okay, so about that, actually, we started. So me, I took the remote initiative only 2 months ago. So we launched. What we're doing at Talent, we always, make tests before. So we are on the test launch. So we started 2 months ago. We approved 100 candidates. In Europe for now, and actually in Europe, in country we were already operate because it was easier for us to find the candidate. And what is interesting, because we made 15 hiring since in 2 months, so it's quite good, and the conversion rate is really good. And only 5 of them are cross-border. So we need to work on that. Actually, none of the cross-border deals are coming from France yet. Mainly they are coming from UK, because I think they're maybe more ready for this, maybe with Brexit or everything, I don't know. But actually, mainly they are coming from there, and we have one or two from Germany, and now we need to work on French companies who are still, sometimes it's hard. So what we are doing right now is trying to train all our account manager about remote, international remote, to be sure that they will be able to reassure them, as I think it will be the future of work, actually. So they need to go.
Great. Another final question, maybe, before we close, from the public. What are your thoughts about working with internal ambassadors in social media?
Well, I'll take that. I'm not sure what you mean by internal ambassadors. But I think, social media today is very important, and it's a big piece, for example, of our marketing and our employer brand. Since we talk about it, we get a lot of outreach for that. So whatever are the right steps for you in order to make it work, you should spend the time and spend the money there. So, for example, at Deal, we've got a couple of people working on social, making sure that we scale and making sure that people can see what we're doing and the directions we're going at the company. So if by internal ambassador you mean community managers you hire to make sure your social is good, you should definitely do that. Or I don't know if you meant that per country, but whatever you meant there, invest in that, because God knows it definitely helped us quite a bit. So I'm sure it can help you.
I think it's more about internal people who shares your hiring need on social media now. I guess. No, I'm not sure. But if it's that, yes, of course, having your team who is using social media to share your job position, opportunities, you need to use that, because this is, I think, what we're calling, for us, we are calling referral at Talent. It's we're always saying to our client, if you can have a referral, do it. It will be the best way for you.
Yes, referral is a very big thing. In the next panel, we even have, someone from Facebook that was getting referral from people that they didn't hire in the job interview, and they recommended someone they hired, So it's if you have a proper process, you can even have candidates that you don't hire doing that, but your internal workforce really has to be there to help you get the best talent. So thank you so much, Margot and Alex, for your great contribution. I think you've started to break some barriers here for all of our audience to go beyond and get better talent. So thank you for your contribution, and back to you, Alice.
Thank you.